You're at a job interview. You get the "what is your biggest weakness?" question. What is your answer? Am terrible at interviews, got me my job. This might only be applicable to someone newly out of college or applying for entry-level jobs, but I had a professor tell me to say lack of experience. If you're applying for an intro-level job, it's expected. It's a weakness that's not really your fault, and you can spin it as a reason you should get the job. Hand them a quality business card that says "I over-prepare." That says you work at the place you're applying to. With a full photo ID and registration number. The year is 2015 and I'm interviewing for my first job at an unnamed game studio. I'm super nervous. I did the pre-interview tests and they like them. And I get the question. I get really nervous and I talk a lot and ramble. It's pretty much word vomit until my brain catches up with my mouth until I catch up with what I just said, and most of the time I can't really remember the question. It got a lot of laughs in the room, but I really couldn't remember at the time what the director just asked me. Did they ever name the game studio? Untitled Game Studio. You might have heard of their Goose Game. I sing in the shower. Sometimes I spend too much time volunteering. Occasionally I'll hit somebody with my car. Meanwhile you are fighting for the cure of the bat disease. I ate more fettuccine alfredo and drank less water than I have in my entire life. Terrified at public speaking is usually the one I go with. It's fairly relatable but easy to brush off by saying I get past it through practice. It also has the benefit of being true. My answer to that question at the local ice cream parlor was my biggest weakness is chocolate. I got the job. And a free scoop of chocolate ice cream every day I worked there. Edit, thanks for the award. My old roommate tried that for a desk job once. She said the interviewer gave her a blank stare, quietly wrote something down, then continued with the interview. She didn't get the job. Wouldn't want to work with someone so dry anyway. It's a bad interview question, but if the person interviewing you asks you something, you should at least try to answer it. Dodging it isn't a good look. Maybe use it as a joke to transition into your answer like, "What's your biggest weakness?" Chocolate. Ha, no, but seriously, probably the drinking. What's your biggest weakness? I tend to stress fart. Oh. I hadn't noticed. That's 'cause I'm acing this interview. Crickets. NBSP, squeak. My last boss told me that I'm condescending and that it's a huge area I need to work on. That means I talk down to people. It's a version of a Bob Newhart joke. I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for the people who like country music, denigrate means put down. I usually approach it honestly. I'm super hard on myself to the point that it can be counterproductive. So I typically don't need a lot of coaching when I duck up, but I need to be reminded to move on. Yep. I work with a company who loved that about me, then 3 years into training they decided to switch gears into quantity over quality, and it's really ducked me up. What industry are you in? Did the change come because of new management or something? Long story short, they took on a few new outlets of making money, before they had the A. Equipment B. Knowledge C. Workforce. It's a very atypical landscaping company. In reality it's high-end landscape design, and shrub plant tree maintenance. Our bread and butter customers are extremely wealthy and very particular. They expect to be catered to, and that's how I was trained, and that's what the company was pitched to me as, 'cause that's how it has run since '96. Therese, honestly a million things I could write here. Doesn't really matter too much since I'm planning on starting my own business in the next 3 to 5 years. Honesty, I don't think that's really a weakness. I don't give a shit what you think. Interviewer, what is your greatest weakness? Me, answering the semantics of a question while ignoring the pragmatics provided by the context. Interviewer, interesting. Could you give me an example? Me, yes. For the linguistic use of the word pragmatics, I award you a doot. Edit, I see. Lots of de Saussure fans. +1 doot added to inventory. You are overburdened. Gives doot to Lydia to carry. I'm sworn to carry your burdens. I haven't played in 9 years, and I heard it. Honest answer followed by how you're improving. I tend to procrastinate, but I keep that at bay by sticking to a to-do list, etc. My last job had very vague to-do lists. They were pretty much the same thing every shift. Stock X department, check dates, rotate stock, fill balloon corral, etc. So in an interview I just used that as an example for staying on task. Then they hit me with, well, how do you make sure you do things on your list? My dumbass was like, I'm not really sure what you're asking. Just do it. They want a simple answer. Something like I have the list written down in a folder, and I check it at the start of the day, and cross off a task when it's done. Then at the end of the day when I sign out, clock out, I check the list, and if anything isn't crossed I double check it was done before leaving. In short, they just want you to say you cross things off a list. Oh my, all those years I just added things to lists. You're telling me that's not enough? I'll add that to the list right away. Well, I'd say my weakness is the cause of me getting fired from my last 8 jobs. I bring in too many turtles apparently. I don't know how many the right amount of turtles is because I've brought anywhere from 50 up to 300. It seems unreasonable to bring less than 50, so I just don't get it. I would be honest during my interview about how many turtles I plan to bring to work with me and let loose in the facility, but they never ask. What about you guys? How many turtles do you guys bring to not get fired? Confidence. Need to stop second guessing myself and realize that I'm good. My boss recently told me I don't have anything to prove to them, and I already have his respect and trust. It meant so much to hear that. Either my crippling alcoholism or penchant for theft, but I'm working on it, hic. The problem with kleptomaniacs is that they always take things literally. I'm seeing a therapist for my kleptomania. I feel like I take away something valuable from each session. The back of my neck is extremely sensitive. If someone were to grab me by my neck and dig their nails in, I'd most likely pass out, therefore making it easier for someone to steal items. What? Yeah, it sucks. One of my friends forgot this and she hugged me, and when she placed her hand on the back of my neck my knees felt like they were going to give out. To clarify why this happens, I have an abnormal amount of nerve endings around the rear base of my neck. Enough where I can feel someone breathing on my neck that's about a foot away. I've gotten used to my hair touching my neck, but any source of touching other than my own hair will set off my nerves. Damn, that's so interesting, I'm intrigued. Is there a name for the condition? Edit, would you describe the feelings as objectively bad? Or is it more so that it just feels powerful, overwhelming? Are you able to wear shirts with tight neckline, or would that induce a reaction? Do people ever mess with you? Can it be used for arousal? Similar to how the nerves in your ears can be stimulating in that way. Did you have it from birth? If so, how did your parents figure out that you had it? Do you have to sleep on your sides, or do you become used to the feeling of a pillow on your neck after a few minutes? Am I asking too many questions? You're fine, it's alright. It feels very powerful and sometimes overwhelming, and I have passed out before when someone accidentally hit me with a clothes rack at my job when they were removing it. I can wear shirts with necklines, just not tight ones. I cannot wear necklaces, however. The last time someone messed with me by sliding a finger down the back of my neck, I ended up slapping him across the face. This was back in high school a few years ago, and no one has messed with me since. I'm not sure about arousal, but I think it might be possible, so long as it's very light contact as most. I've had this from birth, yes. My parents found out I had it when they tried to cradle me like you normally would a baby, and I would start crying. They got me scanned and that's what the doctor apparently told them. I normally don't have any problems once I fall asleep, but for me to fall asleep I have to be on my side or stomach. On a side note, whatever this condition I have, it gets worse the more stressed out I am. One of my oldest friends has a very similar condition, but when his neck is touched or anyone near it, Hulk mode becomes engaged. He was born with his umbilical cord wrapped around his neck. Anything similar of the sort with your birth?